Hey guys, Jude here. Today is Monday. I'm taking the GPU to Aiden, and before I do that, I'm gonna go grab that processor from Xavier and see if, because I'm pretty sure I did some research. I think Aiden has a 3000G, which is an Athlon, but it actually came out after the one that I have. So it turns out they kept making them even though they had Ryzen, and it's like the last one basically. It came out in like 2019 or something insane like that. I don't know why they kept making these. Anyway, might be DDR4 RAM, and I'm pretty sure it's the same socket as Xavier's processor, so I might be able to just swap the processor. If not, it would be a motherboard swap, but I'm not going to do all that today. I'm just going to get the processor, and if it goes in and works, then it works, and if not, then I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go now, because God, it's hot in here.
A bunch of fucking college girls out there looking at your car, dude. That's what the miner is.
What are you doing? You have boxes on the porch.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I'm here for the processor. I did research. I think it's the same socket.
What are you here for?
The old processor. I'm fucking stealing all your shit, basically. Do you have paste?
Somewhere. Did you go to Aiden's yet?
No.
Is he awake?
Yep. I called him. And then he was like, you gotta stop calling me. You keep calling me. Yeah. Well, hope it fucking works. And then we play like one game.
Not even gonna knock?
I knocked on your
You did?
wall.
That's in the bathroom.
Reno.
Is that the fucking graphics card?
Yep. I think it's the same as your old one, but a different brand. And then this is Xavier's old CPU. And I think it'll just go into the one you have now without having to do anything.
CPU is a processor, right?
Yeah.
So these parts are just gonna make my PC like way better now?
Yeah.
Get the fan ass out of there. Damn. Motherfucker. Alright. Oh god, it's dusty in here. So you cut your hair?
Yeah.
You and Xavier.
Okay. It won't fit, and I thought it would, because I'm an idiot. But I can go get Xavier's other motherboard. No, with the fucking RAM. So never mind. Okay. Alright, we'll do just the GPU today.
So the processor's not gonna fit then?
No. But Xavier has a motherboard. It would just need different RAM than what's in here.
Yeah.
So that would be like $50, and then you could swap them all out.
Hopefully without it the game could still run.
I think I tested it to make sure that worked on my old computer that had like, I think a worse processor than the one that's in here. And games were running okay at like, you know, like whatever thing they were. And I was recording at the same time.
So like the graphics card does make that much of a difference? Like
Yeah.
most games don't usually work because of the graphics. Oh, I just find this technology crazy as fuck.
Okay, need to cut that.
It's gonna be like a, oh god, it's one of those annoying ones.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a surgery operation. Good thing it has this.
Protective mesh so it doesn't cut the cables.
I'm gonna cut this. Might need scissors more than anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't grab scissors. I don't trust a knife. My mom always hides the good scissors, so I have to use his old ones. So it was just unused the whole time?
Yeah.
Why?
I guess the old one didn't have that on it.
Oh. There she is.
Ugh, I might
Nice.
barely reach. Maybe through the upper hole here.
You wanna go through one of these bottom holes?
Oh yeah, that might be better.
Where's your penis?
There we go.
Okay. Doink.
It's so weird how it attaches. It doesn't even feel like it's attached, but it is.
Doink.
Oh damn, it works. Oh, don't you pull that. There you go. 6300.
That's the processor. I kept looking up 3000G, which was like a newer one that had the same slot as this, but it was, I don't know.
Wait, so lower numbers are better?
I don't know. The names are so dumb on these things. They keep changing them too. Like it'll be like each number has its own thing it represents, and then the next generation they'll just change it anyway to make it seem like it's better than the last one, but it's not.
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm gonna get shot. This is an enemy base right here. Is there a cage tower you wiped? No way. No way. Oh wait, no it didn't. No it didn't. That took way too long to load in. Look at it.
I got a little. And there he is. Sleeping in his little bed. Guessing all this shit's gonna be empty, but it's all completely undefended. There's no turrets anywhere.
Alright, so Aiden's just hacking right now, basically. Also, finish. Put your password in.
Oh, don't you do this to me.
It's the same thing every time.
It's always like, I just don't remember it. But then I can remember after like 3 tries. I just don't know if I have a space anymore or not. Something I remember changing it recently. If I did, it's gonna piss me off.
Oh.
Why is it that? I changed it like years ago off of that.
Fucking he's a dick. What the fuck?
I'm not a dick, I'm trying to do shit. It's always with you and Jude. If I'm talking with you, the other's trying to get a hold of me.
I called you on Instagram on a video chat so I could see what you guys are doing.
We're fucking.
Yeah.
I know, I want to see it.
Oh, damn.
Is this even gonna work?
What?
The computer?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, I'm back. I've been back for a while. It was getting late. It was like 7 o'clock, and I had to pick up my food because I decided to get McDonald's, and because I was hungry, and I didn't know if they were gonna close at like 8 or something, because sometimes they do that. Anyway, came home, and basically my new idea is, well, I had a few ideas. I couldn't get the driver to install, which is the problem we had with the old GPU, which I figured out was an RX 560, but it was an RX 560 2GB version, so it only had 2GB of VRAM instead of 4GB. The one I have. He's gonna just keep the one I have, I guess, because it's more VRAM. New plan I had was that to reset Windows, you know, reinstall it but still keep all the settings, except it failed that, and as he was sending, because I went home at that point because it was gonna take a while for that to reset, and I was like, it's late, I'm just gonna go home and we just do this tomorrow. He sent me photos of it saying it failed to reset. I'm pretty sure I tried that before and it didn't it did the same thing. I remembered as he sent me those images. Anyway, my next thing to think of is to basically put the hard drive that's in this computer that has the install of Windows on it, that has the drivers, to just put that in his computer and see if that works. Because then that would tell me if it's a Windows issue, and if it's not a Windows issue, which I think it's gonna be a Windows issue, I'll put the hard drive that's in that computer in this one, and then let him just use it for a while. Except none of that matters, because as you saw, I went on Amazon and I bought RAM and an SSD because his computer only has a hard drive in it. So that's like why it's really slow, other than the fact that its processor, which it turns out wasn't a 3000G or whatever the hell I thought it was. It's an FX 6300, which is a 13-year-old computer or processor. 2012 that came out. I think my YouTube channel is actually older than it slightly, but like still, it's just as old as my YouTube channel actually. It's great. It's a very old processor. Yeah, basically, as shown earlier in this video, or mentioned earlier in this video, Xavier has, well, last year bought a new processor. He had to buy a new motherboard because the other one couldn't work with it, unfortunately, even though it had the same socket, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is his old processor, the 3600X. I thought it was a G. Turns out that doesn't exist. I'm just forgetting all sorts of processor names, apparently. 3600X, definitely way faster and better than a FX 6300, which those are, it's funny because the numbers are just swapped. Anyway, that and Xavier's motherboard, which I don't have here. It's like a B450, it doesn't matter. That already is an upgrade for Aiden, and then of course, the extra 2GB of VRAM in the 560, in my 560 that I'm giving him, or whatever I'm doing. Anyway, the reason we couldn't swap that out now was because he doesn't have RAM for it, because that's DDR4 RAM, and the RAM in his system is DDR3. So, as you saw earlier, I bought RAM on Amazon, and that SSD, because once again, it only had a hard drive, which is another reason it was running really slow. Because it was from Amazon, it's gonna take 8 days or something to get here, or I think it was like 6 to 10 days to get here. I don't feel like waiting that long to play Repo. The reason I'm doing all this is because we wanted to play a game, basically, and I was just like, okay, because we thought that his graphics card died. For the longest time we thought, oh, his graphics card just died, because it wasn't showing up in Windows. The problem is that it won't install the driver because it doesn't see the graphics card. It doesn't see anything. You go into Device Manager, and normally there's a tab that says Display Adapters, and then that would be like where it would say like Microsoft Basic Display Driver or whatever when it's like not installing the driver. That tab doesn't exist. It doesn't say Display Adapter at all. It's just not there. You can't install the driver. You can't even force to install the driver if it doesn't even think there's anything there, even though the image that's being outputted is being outputted via an HDMI cable plugged into the graphics card. Hopefully that fixes itself either through a reinstall of Windows, which with the SSD would be having to reinstall Windows, which is fine because, you know, it's an OEM system he bought, so it's gonna have like weird stuff. I don't know, doesn't matter. Basically, buying this RAM fixes two things. If it's a hardware issue, which at this point it would be like motherboard or something with the BIOS, replacing the motherboard, so the hardware issue would be gone. The software issue gets fixed because we're installing Windows onto the SSD, and I would do a fresh install of that, and then I would go into that 1 terabyte hard drive, which we'll just have plugged in anyway, and just go through it and remove all the Windows stuff and just keep all the files and whatnot. Or if there's a way to do like a transfer of certain application, doesn't matter. This is all a bit disjointed, but I'll find a way to edit it. I bought the stuff on Amazon. You saw it, I recorded it, and it was gonna take a while, and I don't want to wait that long. So I canceled my order on Amazon. I went to bestbuy.com and I looked up basically the cheapest, almost the cheapest RAM, 16 gigabytes of 3600 speed, not 3200, it's 3600, and it's got C18 whatever latency thing. So it's good fast RAM. 16 gigabytes because he doesn't really need 32 because he's not going to be doing anything on it other than playing some games. So I saved 10 bucks there for me. SSD, it's from Walmart, which is also going to be picked up in the same place. Just a WD Blue 1 terabyte. Plenty fast, it's like 4,000 whatever megabits, and it was like $60. So slightly more expensive than the one on Amazon. The one on Amazon I was looking at was $49, and then the next day it was 55 or I think 60 or something. The one on Walmart or whatever was 62, but whatever. I ended up saving from my order on Amazon like $9. And of course the 10 days it would have took for it to get here, which I don't know, it's not as fun, because I was thinking like if I'm gonna make this like a surprise for Aiden, I'm gonna have to like, you know, and I still want to play the game as soon as possible. I don't want to be like, oh, I guess like we can't do this or whatever, or like come up with some weird jank solution like I was with like bringing this computer to his house and like doing whatever the hell I said I was gonna do. None of that matters. If I just show up tomorrow with RAM and, you know, the SSD or whatever, and just be like, oh hey, look, this is, you know, it'd be a funny thing. I think that's the best way to do it. And once again I enjoy driving, so tomorrow I'll wake up and go for like a morning drive over to Vestal, and just that's what I'll do. So whatever. God, I'm out of breath. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired. What else could I talk about to make this video longer, even though I shouldn't do that? I haven't been editing. Once again, I did not edit the vlog again. It's like 4 days in a row I haven't edited it at all, on top of being behind by like 5 days anyway, so now I'm 8 days behind or something. I'm an idiot, I guess is all I could say. Whatever, I'll get my groove back at some point. I sort of knew this was gonna happen at the start of the year when I, you know, started did the time skip or whatever I called it, and started uploading 2025 vlogs in 2025. I knew I would get behind again at some point, and that basically what I said was just every year I just start at the year. So like in 2026 I'll start uploading 2026 videos, you know, immediately, and I'll get caught up whenever the hell, you know, like 2025 videos will go out whenever I feel like making them. And that sucks from like just basically for like a few years in a row there's probably just not gonna be like December videos or something, like I don't know, but it's just for the fact that like it keeps me from going completely depressed maybe. Although if I let it build up like that, where this like, I don't know, I want to try and still keep up to date. I don't think I want to let myself get any more than like 20 days behind or something like that. That's okay, that's like a stupid arbitrary thing to say, you know. I don't want to see myself get 1 day behind, but here I am. So I don't want to get any further. I want to at least edit 1 video a day to make sure I don't get any further behind. That's basically all I'm saying. And today will not be the day I edit anything, nor will tomorrow, because I'll probably be installing PC stuff and Windows and all that tomorrow on Aiden's computer. So yeah, tomorrow, which is Tuesday, probably Wednesday I'll start editing again. Sure. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. End of the video.